Brittney, a few weeks ago, you fouled out of an Indiana Fever game. Cameras caught you saying something on the bench. It's hard to tell what you said. Can you tell us what you said?
I remember fouling out, being mad. I remember fouling out on, I believe it was Howard, driving to the basket. They said I put my hand in. But hey, never really had to look at the change, so.
But what did you say?
I really can't remember what I said, honestly.
If I showed you the video, would that help?
No, it wouldn't help.
It wouldn't help? Brittney.
And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career.
Roll the clip and freeze. Brittney Griner, courtside, just mouthed something after a foul call, and the internet exploded. Did she just say trash? Did she say white girl? Or was it both? Within hours, the footage had fans turning into FBI-level lip readers, frame by frame, trying to decode the moment. But it wasn't just about what she said, it was how she said it. That look, that pause, that smirk. It didn't feel like heat-of-the-moment trash talk. It felt personal, like something boiling under the surface just broke through. And here's where it gets real messy, because the name across the court was Caitlin Clark. This is where things went from heated to completely unhinged. What started as a courtside trash talk controversy exploded into a full-blown internet firestorm, and no one saw the next twist coming. Out of nowhere, the timeline flipped. It wasn't just, did Brittney say something racist? It became, is Brittney even who we think she is? Yep, the internet did what it does best, it spiraled, a topless video, supposedly from Brittney's own old Instagram story.
You want to know the real reason why WNBA players hate Caitlin Clark? Here you go.
It was great, but like honestly, come on LA. Like we didn't sell out the arena for BG. Like I expected more, you know, to be honest, right? Like it was great, it was loud, but how was it not a sellout?
Resurfaced. No blurs, no warnings, no takedown. And the internet immediately pointed fingers. Why didn't Instagram's AI flag this if she's a woman? One post led to another, and suddenly, the narrative shifted from racial slur accusations to full-blown gender conspiracies. People began asking if Brittney Griner is actually biologically male. It sounds wild and maybe even dangerous. But this is what happens when public figures stay silent during controversy. The internet fills the gaps. Some said she's intersex. Others claimed she's trans, and the league's been covering it. A few even called her a government psyop. It was Kanan meets WNBA Twitter, a total digital wildfire. And the saddest part, it buried the real issue, instead of staying focused on what was actually.
Respectfully, Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil,
said on the court, the conversation got hijacked by anatomy speculation, misgendering, and wild theories that have nothing to do with basketball. But here's the reality: when a league fails to provide clarity, and when a player at the center of it all goes radio silent, chaos fills the vacuum. This wasn't just a PR misstep, it was a masterclass in how not to handle controversy in the digital age. And just when people thought it couldn't get darker, the internet remembered something else: the Brittney Griner who's being scrutinized. Today is the same Brittney Griner the US traded the Merchant of Death for. Yeah, buckle up. That's next. Let's rewind the tape.
That's them being delusional. The reality is actually really easy to understand.
Why are you always dragging us into this shit? Going like, I don't understand, how come female athletes don't make as much as male professional athletes? Because you don't sell any tickets! You're playing in a 20,000 seat arena, 1,500 people show up, that's not a good night! The promoter lost his on that gig.
You want to know the real reason why WNBA players hate Caitlin Clark? Here you go.
Because before this courtside chaos, before the lip-reading wars and gender conspiracies, Brittney Griner was already the center of one of the wildest international headlines of the decade. Remember this: the United States government didn't just bring Brittney Griner home, they traded for her. And not just anyone. They swapped her for Victor Bout, a convicted global arms dealer nicknamed the Merchant of Death. You heard that right. A WNBA star for a man who literally inspired a Nicolas Cage movie about illegal
Caitlin Clark as the fucking white girl.
weapons. Now, let's sit with that for a second, because when that deal happened, America was divided. Some called it a humanitarian win, others called it political theater. But now, with Brittney at the center of new controversy, people are asking the uncomfortable question: was it worth it? If Caitlin Clark had been the one locked up in Russia, would she have been traded back? Would she have gotten the same press coverage, the same urgency, the same presidential shout-outs? Let's be brutally honest, probably not, because Brittney didn't just check one box. She checked all of them. Black, woman, queer, high-profile athlete. It was a cultural cocktail that made her the perfect headline and the perfect political play. But now that she's back, courtside, and possibly stirring up new racial tensions, the optics get complicated. It's not just about who we bring home anymore. It's about what they do when they get here. This isn't just about Brittney. This is about how the—
Now I'm going to tell you what I think she said. Let's play it back. Looks to me like she is saying trash and then calling Caitlin Clark a bleep white girl. Just a reminder, this is who Joe Biden traded for the Russian Merchant of Death.
The league, the media, and the country handle controversy when it doesn't fit the script, because when you trade a literal arms dealer to bring someone back into the spotlight, you better hope they don't fumble the bag. And right now, the internet thinks Brittney's not just fumbling, she's lighting the whole thing on fire, and somehow it gets even messier from here. Here's the part that really lit the fuse. Brittney said nothing. No tweet, no statement, no "all got it twisted" moment. Just pure radio silence. While the entire internet set itself on fire, and that silence, it wasn't classy. It wasn't professional. It was suspicious, because when you're being accused of saying something as loaded as effing white girl on national television, you don't get to play mute, especially not when your league is already walking a tightrope over race, gender, and respectability. This is the WNBA. Every move is political. Every quote gets dissected. Every player knows the spotlight is brutal. So when a clip goes viral and it looks like you crossed the line, you better believe the fans expect receipts, explanations, something. But Brittney, she chose to vanish, and that's the twist people can't ignore. Because the longer she stayed silent, the more people started asking the uncomfortable questions. Why won't she just deny it? Why isn't the league stepping in? And most of all, why does it feel like there's a double standard in play here? Let's flip it. Imagine if Caitlin Clark had mumbled something that looked racist. You think the media would have let her breathe? Hell no. She'd be dragged on every timeline, dissected on ESPN, and probably forced into some awkward apology tour with Good Morning America by now. But Brittney gets a pass? Why? Because she's a vet? Because she's been through more? Because of who she is off the court? That's not justice. That's favoritism.
Brittney Griner has experienced black privilege in America, and now she and her cohorts, her supporters, expect her to experience black privilege in another country, and they ain't having it. They ain't having it.
And the fans see it. Even Skip freaking Bayless jumped in, calling out the league for going silent. And when Skip sounds like the voice of reason, you know something's broken. The silence didn't cool things down. It amplified the backlash. It made people lean in harder, dig deeper, ask louder, and now this isn't just a PR issue. It's a trust issue. If the league protects some voices while muting others, how long before that spotlight burns the whole brand down? Because the longer Brittney says nothing, the louder this story gets. Let's not pretend this is just about a courtside clip, because when it comes to Brittney Griner, the baggage runs deep. We're talking about the same Brittney who didn't just make headlines for her dunks, she got swapped for a literal international arms dealer. Yeah, that part. The US traded Brittney Griner, a WNBA center, for Victor Bout, aka the Merchant of Death. That's not a Marvel villain name. That's real life. A man who sold weapons to warlords, cartels, and dictators, exchanged for a basketball player. Now pause, ask yourself if that had been a random D1 white girl stuck in a Russian prison. Is she sipping lattes in Arizona right now? Or is she still locked up, learning Cyrillic and praying for a headline? Exactly. Brittney wasn't just rescued. She was prioritized. And not because she's a superstar. Because she checked all the boxes: black, gay, female, a political symbol. In a league that thrives on identity and culture,
it's very possible that Brittney Griner was blaming Caitlin Clark in the big picture for her fouling out, blaming referees in general for overprotecting the Fever because the league wants the Fever to win and the fucking white girl to be MVP because the fucking white girl sells tickets and detonates ratings. That resentment would be an extremely plausible.
And don't get it twisted, no one's saying she didn't deserve to come home. But when the country risks international blowback to bring you back, you don't get to move like nothing happened. That trade put her under a microscope. Everything she says or doesn't say matters more now. She went from athlete to icon overnight. Whether she asked for it or not, she's carrying the weight of something way bigger than basketball.so when she's caught on camera possibly saying effing white girl. People aren't just reacting to a moment. They're reacting to everything
she wrote. Russia and sentenced to 9 years. That's crazy. Sorry,
it wasn't smuggling. It was personal
9
use.
years of jail time.
Personal use.
Thursday. Well, all right. I don't have to read the whole shit because we know what happened. So
represents, and that's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. This isn't even just about a slur. It's about whether the WNBA is willing to admit that sometimes their heroes come with shadows. That being a political icon doesn't make you immune to criticism, because if the league is going to hold the world accountable for how it treats its women athletes, then it better be ready to hold its own stars accountable too. And this trade, this spotlight, this silence, it's not just a subplot, it's the context that changes everything. Here's what no one's talking about, and honestly, it's the loudest part of this entire mess. Brittney Griner hasn't said a word. Not one tweet, not a press conference. Not even a rushed "y'all are tripping" on her IG story. And that silence? It's deafening. Because let's be real, if you were falsely accused of saying something as explosive as effing white girl on national TV, wouldn't you be clearing your name immediately? Most people would be sprinting to TMZ, ESPN, any Mick and Reach to say, "I said whack call." Not that other nonsense, but Brittney. She zipped it. Now, let's break that down. Either she truly believes this will blow over, it won't, or she knows what she said and banking on the WNBA staying quiet with her. And honestly, they just might, because Brittney isn't just any player. She's the league's redemption arc, the comeback queen, the political prisoner turned inspiration poster. But here's the issue: when the face of your league gets caught in a possible racial controversy and says nothing, it opens the floodgates for speculation. It gives people permission to fill in the blanks, and right now, those blanks are getting ugly. Fans are dissecting her lips frame by frame like it's a Zapruder film. Reddit threads are 600 comments deep. TikToks are pulling audio spectrograms like we're in CSI mode. Why? Because silence in 2025 doesn't mean innocence, it signals strategy. And people smell the spin. If Caitlin Clark had said anything remotely close to this, you already know press tours, league fines, think pieces, probably even a sit down with Gayle King. But when Brittney does it, the energy shifts. So here's the hard truth: Brittney's silence doesn't make the controversy disappear. It confirms that this isn't just another WNBA beef. This is a cultural moment, and her refusal to address it, that's not damage control. That's a statement, and we're still waiting for the mic drop that never came. Okay, so let's say, for the sake of argument, that the courtside clip was just heat of the moment trash talk. Maybe she said whack call. Maybe it was white girl. Maybe we'll never know for sure. But then, this happened at an old Instagram story, supposedly posted by Brittney Griner herself, resurfaced, and the internet went absolutely feral. Why? Because in the clip, Brittney appears shirtless. No blurring, no removal, no warning labels. Here's where things get weird. Instagram has AI systems that automatically flag and remove female nudity. Every woman knows the drill. You show too much, your post vanishes in seconds, but Brittney's post, it stayed up for over 106 weeks, over 2 years, unflagged. untouched, unbothered, and just like that, people started asking questions that no one in the WNBA ever wanted to answer. If Instagram's own AI classified Brittney as male, what does that say? What does that mean for the league? For the fans? For the players going up against her every night? This isn't about body shaming. This isn't about being flat-chested. This is about fairness. Because there's a difference between being flat-chested and being biologically male. And if Brittney is a biological male or intersex or undergoing testosterone therapy without disclosure, then we're not just talking about pronouns anymore. We're talking about competitive integrity. People aren't ready to hear this, but if the league knows and they're keeping it quiet to avoid backlash, then we're no longer in the realm of gossip. We're in the middle of a full-blown scandal, because here's the truth Gen Z won't scroll past. If one player is operating under different physical rules, while every other woman is told to just compete harder, then the WNBA isn't just silent, it's complicit, and the longer they avoid the conversation, the louder it's going to get. Next up, the 3 uncomfortable possibilities no one wants to say out loud. This is where things stop being whispers and start getting loud. Because once that post resurfaced, the internet went full detective mode and 3 possible explanations started circulating like wildfire. Possibility 1. Brittney Griner is a biological male who was raised female and never disclosed it. If that's true, we're not just talking about an identity, we're talking about a lifetime of competitive advantage and a league that never asked the hard questions. Possibility 2. Brittney is intersex, someone born with both male and female biological traits, possibly elevated testosterone, broader shoulders, deeper voice, different muscle mass. Still unfair advantage, still unexplained, still ignored by WNBA officials who seem more worried about PR than player safety or parity. And then there's option 3, Brittney is trans, on testosterone therapy, competing against cisgender women. Without any open disclosure, without any public record, and without any league policy addressing what that means. If the WNBA allows this quietly, then it's not a progressive win. It's a cover-up. Here's what no one wants to admit: each of these 3 scenarios carries massive implications for the integrity of the sport. This isn't just a locker room issue or an internet rumor. It's about whether the league is applying one set of rules to everyone, or bending the game behind closed doors. Because if Brittney has had even a partial biological edge her entire career and the league knew, then every woman who ever lost to her deserves answers. Period. This is bigger than identity politics, bigger than cancel culture. It's about whether the WNBA is protecting its players or just protecting its image. And if the truth threatens to blow the lid off the whole system, then maybe that's exactly the truth we need to hear next. Coming up, why the silence from the WNBA isn't just suspicious, it's strategic. You'd think after a clip like that went viral with Brittney Griner allegedly mouthing "effing white girl" courtside, the league would have responded fast, loud, and clear. A denial, a clarification, something. But the WNBA? Dead silent. Not a statement, not a tweet, not even a lazy PR spin. And that silence, it's louder than anything they could have said. Because this isn't just about one player anymore. It's about what the league chooses to protect and what it chooses to ignore. The WNBA has gone all in on being a symbol of inclusion, activism, and progressive pride. But now, when those values are being questioned, when one of their biggest stars is under the spotlight, they suddenly have nothing to say. Let's be real. If the roles were reversed, if Caitlin Clark was caught saying something even remotely racially charged, the league would have dropped an official statement by lunchtime, sponsors would have pulled out, and Twitter would have been a war zone. But Brittney? Different energy, protected status. She's untouchable and everyone knows it. This isn't just favoritism. This is strategic silence. The kind that keeps controversy buried, players in check, and uncomfortable conversations off the broadcast. But here's the thing, that strategy is cracking. Fans are noticing. Commentators are speaking out. Even WNBA veterans are starting to question the double standards, and the longer the league stays quiet, the more it looks like complicity. So ask yourself, is the WNBA really about equality? Or is it about protecting the narrative even if that means lying by omission? Because if this league can't hold all players accountable regardless of identity, then it's not justice. It's politics in a jersey, and the fans? They're watching. They're done being gaslit. Next up, why fans are calling this the league's biggest credibility test yet. Yeah, her, the golden rookie, the ratings magnet, the face of the new WNBA, and now, possibly, the unintentional target of a racially charged insult. That's what fans think. That's what the hashtags are saying. That's what the headlines won't print, but everybody is thinking. And yet silence. No statement. No clarification. No I said whack call. Not white girl. Just pure, uncomfortable silence. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. If this had been the other way around, if Caitlin Clark had mouthed something even close to that, she'd be trending for all the wrong reasons. There would be press conferences, suspensions, think pieces, apologies, full-on media warfare. But Brittney, crickets, and that silence, it's speaking louder than the clip. This wasn't just a viral moment. This was a culture war detonated in 5 seconds. Old guard vs. new wave. Identity vs. visibility. Bias vs. branding. And it's all happening under the lights of a league desperate for relevance and terrified of friction. So now the question isn't just what did she say? It's why does it feel like no one's allowed to ask? And if this is how the WNBA handles controversy in the Caitlin Clark era, oh, just wait till you see what comes next.